Hi guys, welcome to this video where we're going to be talking about something that really excites my nerdy heart, and that is how to make a money plan. If you've been around this channel for any amount of time, you know that I like nerd out about money in the sense of like data and like budgeting and like projecting how much money I think I can make and like all of these things that relate to my business. And it's just a weird fascination I've had ever since I was a kid, y'all. Like, I used to have this little tiny notebook that I kept in my piggy bank, and I would write down, it was like a checkbook. I would write down in this little teeny tiny, it was just like a spiral bound notebook, teeny tiny notebook, and I would write down like, you know, oh, I got my $1 allowance. Okay, now I have, you know, $5, and once I get this many dollars, I can buy a new Barbie. You know, like I was that kid, and I have not changed one bit at all. That being said, in this video, we're talking about how to make a money plan. I am going to be talking specifically to Teachers Pay Teachers sellers, but you know, anyone is welcome to watch and follow along because it applies to pretty much anything. Let's get started. All right, step number one is going to be to assess where you actually are. So right now, I want you to, or maybe like after the video is over, you could do that too. But go ahead and look through how much money your shop is currently making. Look at both like how much it's making per month and how much it made last year if you've been around for a whole year. And then it's also really helpful to kind of see an average. I love seeing averages of things because I just think it just makes so much more sense in your brain. So you find the average amount of money that you've been making per month so that you have kind of a starting point. And let's say that that is like $300 a month. What's that? 300. If you make that every month, then that is $3,600 for the year. Let's say that that's what you made last year. So that's where you're going to start, and then I want you to figure out where you want to be. So if you're currently making $300, let's see, here we go. I brought a pen and a notebook. If you're currently making $300 and you would like to make $600 a month, then after that, I want you to figure out how much okay, so if you are currently making $300 a month and you want to make $600 a month, that is your starting point. Figure out both like how much for a year that is, and then also how much per month that is, because it's just sometimes some people think it's helpful to do one and some people think it's helpful to do the other. Then go through and break it down by income stream. Now this obviously only works if you have more than one income stream, but if you have more than one income stream, this is very helpful. So go through, and if you are doing like, okay, let's say TPT makes you, oh, Becca, 100 of that, that's a disaster. And then let's say you're doing like tutoring, and that's making you 100, and we'll just make this nice and easy. And let's say that you have a course and it's also making you $100. So let's say three streams of income. Now we need to make that 600. So maybe you want to just double each of those, or maybe you want to change it. So personally, I find that TPT can grow at a larger rate than some of the other things because it's passive income. So as you make new products, people can still see the old products and purchase those. And so that will usually go a little faster. This is driving me bonkers, so I'm gonna write it a little bit prettier on the other side. Please hold. So let's say instead that you want your TPT shop to go to $300, and that'll leave, you know, $300 left. Then figure out like, okay, do you want to do more tutoring or do you want to stay the same? If you decide like, I don't want to do any more tutoring than I'm already doing, there's 100, you're at 400. So then you have 200 left over to make up. So that's going to have to come out of the course. So start with this. It's best if you actually use a whiteboard, because then you can kind of play with it and erase things and play around and see like, okay, well, if I, you know, want to do even less tutoring, I can cut that, and then where can I make that up? And you can kind of add things as you go. Or maybe you want to create a whole nother income stream. That could also help you. It might take a while, but it will also help you to move. One thing I like to do is to have kind of like, I'll make this chart and I'll usually do a couple of different different ideal things. So I'll start with, you know, like, this is how much I'm currently making. This is how much, you know, maybe I'll start with how much I'm currently making and how much I really, really, really want to make. And then like land somewhere in the middle so that I can see kind of like the progression that I need to take as the time is going. So you want to keep like playing around with that as you go to see, you know, what's going to be the most realistic, what's going to help the most, what are different things you can do. And along with that, you also want to figure out like, okay, now how are you going to do that? So if you want to, you know, increase your income. So let's say maybe you decide you do want to do more tutoring. Okay, if you have one kid and you're getting $100 for one kid, okay, if you have 2 kids, then you can get $200 a month from tutoring. So things like that. If you're currently selling like 2 of your courses and that's making you $100, you need to sell 4 of your courses in order to make $200. Same thing with TPT. If you're currently making $100 and you want to make $300, you need to 3 times something. And that something can either be traffic, conversion rates, or products. Your conversion rate is how many people go to your store and then purchase. So if you have like a 3% conversion rate, that means out of every 100 people, there's about 3 people who are purchasing. So if you increase your conversion rate, then that means that more of the people who are landing on your product are purchasing. So if you currently have 3%, we're trying to 3x. So if you're at 3% and you get it to a 9%, then that would be, you know, 3 times as many people purchasing your product. So instead of 3 for every 100, you now have 9 for every 100. So that's step number 1, is you can increase your conversion rates. Increasing your conversion rates usually happen by working on your previews, working on your descriptions, we're having product photography, and just really like convincing people they need to buy. So what can you do so that when people land on your products, they're convinced that they need to purchase? You can also change your traffic. So we can triple your traffic. If you have, again, a 3% conversion rate, out of every 100 people that come, you get 3 sales, right? Approximately. If you send 300 people, then you can hypothetically have 9 people who purchase and you've now tripled your sales. So if you add more traffic, then that will add more sales. You can add more traffic by, you know, sending people that way via email, via blog posts, via YouTube, via Instagram, you know, all of those different things are traffic that can lead people to your resource. You can also add more products and that will also help to increase your revenue. So if you have, you know, add more products, then that will increase it. You know, hypothetically, if you had 3 times as many products, then that would increase it 3-fold. Now, the thing about TPT is because it is passive, that's not like a 100% accurate thing. Typically, as you add more products, it'll grow more exponentially, at least until you reach a point where your sales kind of even out. So that's not like 1,000%, you know, for real, but hypothetically. Now you can also do obviously like a combination of those things. So maybe you make a couple more products and you send more people in traffic from your email list, and you also are working on your conversion rates by convincing people that they need to buy with your descriptions on all of those things. You can have a variety, but those are the 3 main ways that you're going to make more money. Or again, you can create another source of incomes. Maybe you want to write a book or make a notebook and sell that, or maybe you want to make physical products and sell them, or, you know, whatever you want to do, but adding another source of income could also help with said income. So as you are thinking through this, I really, again, want you to start with, this is what we're currently at. This is where I really would like to be, and then maybe have like a couple of steps in the middle where you can kind of like jump from, so that you can see, what do I need to do next year in order to make that happen? And when you really think of it strategically, like, okay, if I need to triple my TPT income, what do I need to do to make that happen? Then you're like really thinking in terms of tactical strategies that will help you with your money plan. So I know that this is not like the most revolutionary thing ever in the whole entire world, but it does make a huge, huge, huge difference. The last thing I'm going to say is that as you are working on that, you really need to make sure that you're keeping track and keeping up with it and reviewing and reflecting as you go. So once you get, you know, a month down, Okay, did you earn as much as you wanted to that month? What do you need to do? Are you above? Are you below? What do you need to do in order to, you know, adjust as needed? But having those check-ins with yourself where you're like remembering, oh, hey, that's what I wanted to do. Am I actually doing that? Will tell you what you need to do in the future in order to make things happen. The worst thing you can do is wait until the end of the year and then be like, oh, hey, I did not do what I wanted to do. So make sure you're checking in with yourself periodically. And, you know, sometimes you might be overshooting and thinking you can do a lot more than maybe you realistically can, based on, you know, your time and your productivity and all of those things and where you are in your business. And sometimes you're undershooting. I had that problem this year where I thought I could do a lot less than I actually could do. And so I had to adjust as time went on because I was making more money than I wanted to, which was like a really wonderful thing, not a complaint. But my point being that I didn't like just be like, oh cool, I made more money than I thought. I took that and, you know, adjusted it so that I could continue and still have goals and still have things that I'm working towards. So very simple. Grab a whiteboard, write down all the things, think about things you can launch, think about things that you can send traffic, what you already have. That's one thing I'm looking at, is like, how can I send more traffic to what I'm already doing without me having to like actually, you know, send people physically, but how can I set up like systems in order to create more traffic to my resources that I've already got posted, that are already done, so that I'm kind of capitalizing on what I've already finished instead of like continuing to make more and more and more and more and more, which is hard because I love making products. So all of that to say, super, super simple actually to make a money plan, but it's something that most people don't think of or don't know how to do. So I just wanted to sit down and chit chat with you about that today. And with that being said, that's all I got. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.